Alright, what's up everybody? I am probably Rob. Welcome back to another stream or video for my viewers on YouTube. And today we're going to do something a little bit differently. Today's going to be more of like a storytelling stream rather than a gameplay stream. And if any of you guys have any questions about these experiences at all, either in the Twitch chat or in the YouTube comments, please feel free to ask. I'll answer any questions that y'all have. I forgot I made a rule that I can't sleep in this world. Okay, today I'm probably just gonna go exploring because we haven't really done that a lot, and I know that Bootleg wanted to go around and find some of the structures, so I wanted to see if I could maybe find some and hopefully not die along the way. Oh, I forgot I made all these chests really annoying. Okay, it's fine. Let's go this way, I think. Alright, so I'm thinking about going maybe this way towards the big forest. I feel like that'll be really cool, especially with the horror mods. And hopefully don't get jumped by the one who watches. I shouldn't have any interactions with the cave dweller unless I find a really cool cave that I want to mark. Alrighty. Alright, so let's get into the actual storytelling of this stream. Alright, so my first story happened about last August, I would say. So for context, I sleep on the couch because my bedroom is above the garage, so during cold and warm seasons of the year, my room gets either way too hot or way too cold to be in, so I always end up sleeping on the couch. So on the couch, there's obviously like the couch arms, and I am a little bit blind personally, so I have glasses. So every single night I always have to put my glasses on the arm of the bed so that they don't fall off and nothing gets into them or my rabbit doesn't chew them. So I'm scrolling on Instagram Reels, like the absolute no life that I am, and then my glasses fall onto the ground, and I was a little bit confused because the glasses were on like the inside of the couch arm, so there's no way that they could have fallen down without them actually like getting pushed or knocked over, and I wasn't moving, I was just scrolling on Reels like I said. So I got a little bit confused. And then immediately after, there was a bright orange orb that like flew right in front of my face in between me and the TV. So at first I was thinking, okay, it's probably my astigmatism or just light reflection off of something somehow. But what really made this stand out to me was the motion sensor. We have a motion sensor in the room that blinks blue every time it detects movement. And where I was on the couch, I was too low for the motion sensor to detect it. It picks up higher up in the room purposefully, since we have a rabbit that roams around. So we have it higher up so it can't detect the rabbit. So what really made it believable for me was after the orb went through and it went into view with the motion sensor actually went off. And like I said, it wasn't me because I was too low to the ground, and obviously it wasn't my rabbit because my rabbit's smaller than I was. So I'm getting confused. Everything, like, just quiet, just normal, like 3 in the morning type environment. And then the motion sensor blinks blue again, and then the orange orb flies back around. So then I get a little bit freaked out, honestly. Oh, I thought that was the one who watches. That's a skeleton. So I got a little bit freaked out, honestly, because there was obviously something there if my motion sensor, or if the motion sensor in the room had picked it up, so I don't really know what that was. I'm not really... Okay, before I go into too much of this, I will say that I tend to be a hard skeptic of some of these things, just because I always see like the ghost hunting videos on YouTube and all the little ghost hunting shows, and they just seem super fake, so it's just kind of led me to like be a skeptic. But even through me being a skeptic, there are definitely a couple things I've experienced that, like, definitely made me uneasy and made me believe that there's definitely something weird happening in the world. So that's basically it for the orb story. It's basically just the orb flying back and forth with the motion sensor going off. So I thought that was really weird and a good little story to start off with. And I hear the one who watches. Just let it hit me, I guess. The second story, in my opinion, was probably the scariest one I've ever encountered. So I was probably about maybe 7 or 8. And then at this time, I was still sleeping on the couch for the same reasons I mentioned before with the first story. And one thing I have noticed is that usually if I encounter something, it's always near August during the Perseus meteor shower. I have no clue if that has any connections whatsoever, but if it does, then I don't know. I'm not really an expert in really anything because I'm a high schooler and I don't really take time to look into this stuff because I personally think that if there's something weird going on, I'd rather just not know about it than be educated about it and scare myself. Okay, so like I said, the second story takes place when I was around maybe 7 or 8 in the middle of the night. So I was actually sleeping and then I got woken up by something. It was the sound of like a grinding metal. If you know what a table saw sounds like, imagine you're trying to cut sheet metal with a table saw. It was just like a very loud metallic grinding sound, which was loud enough to wake me up and loud enough for me to hear through. Oh, okay. No, don't push me into him. Okay, he's gone. It was a hallucination. But the sound of the grinding metal was loud enough to actually wake me up. And then being the little curious George of a 7-year-old that I was, I decided, you know what? I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to go see what this is. So then I walk over to the windows next to the front door. There's a set of windows next to the front door. So we have a light in our front yard that is on at night just so like it's not pitch black outside in front of our house. So then I look outside and there's like a tall black like slender like figure with really long limbs and like white glowing eyes. So I'm thinking at first, okay, I'm dreaming. So there's like the saying where if you pinch yourself and it hurts and you're not dreaming, that's how you know that like if it's real or not. So like I back away from the window. I choose not to pinch myself. I chose to bite myself because for whatever reason the 7-year-old version of me thought that that was a more effective idea of testing if I was awake or not. So I bite like my arm a little bit and it hurts. So I'm like, okay, this is real. I'm awake. So then I open the blinds again, and then it's a little bit closer. So in this point in time, my mind clicks, and I'm like, okay, if I look away from it, and then look back, then it gets closer. So then, this is where, the silly little curious George of a 7-year-old me decided, you know what? I'm just gonna start flipping the blinds up and down as fast as I physically can. Because if it gets closer whenever I can't see it and then look at it again, it gets closer. Why not just like, flip it up and down until it gets really close? So then I start doing that. And then, of course, just like out of a horror movie, it does exactly that. It gets closer after every time the blinds go back up. So then I do it again one more time because I'm like, okay, like it's probably a shadow, so it can't do anything to me. But that's whenever like its arm isn't to its side anymore. It's reaching towards the doorknob on my front door. So at this point, this is where I'm getting freaked out. I don't really know why I wasn't too freaked out beforehand. I thought I was just dreaming or it was just a shadow or something. So then it starts reaching for the doorknob and I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh snap, whatever this thing is, it's about to try to get inside my house. So then I run back to the couch where I was sleeping and I just lay down and I don't hear anything. So then I eventually fall asleep, I wake up in the morning, I check back in the front door, and then there's just nothing. So I don't really know what it was. I'll try to add a picture on screen of the closest thing I can find that can describe it. It was just a very tall black figure with white glowing eyes and elongated limbs. It didn't really have any facial features from what I remember. It might have, I don't really know, it was a long time ago. I'm surprised I remember that much of the story. Okay, so the last story is actually happened last year. So last summer and around, it was either late May or early June, I went on a trip to Gettysburg National Park in Pennsylvania. And we decided, hey, there's also a cool little thing here near Philadelphia that's kind of close to Gettysburg. And let's go to this haunted insane asylum. So, I've always loved, like, the idea of going to a haunted place, but I've never actually gone to one. And I really wanted to go, but the problem was, I'm like, oh, we don't really have any equipment for hunting anything. Like, I don't really know. I really wanted to go, but I thought it was going to be kind of lame since we didn't have anything. So we get there, and I'll put a couple of pictures on screen of the entrance of it from whenever we first got there. And then they go everybody meets up in this, like, giant room, because it was a community event kind of thing, where they let you free roam the entirety of the facility, like, unsupervised, like, just as a group, you can go ghost hunting, do whatever you want, go exploring, see everything there is to see there. So then they go through, like, the quick briefing of it. They're like, okay, this is the history of the place. This is why it's haunted. Here's, like, some of the experiences people have had. So they release us, and it's still daytime, so we're just wandering around, like, the first floor of this main building. And all the buildings are just absolutely trashed, except for, like, the meeting room, which was somewhat fixed, just because that's where everybody met. But yeah, the entire place was just trashed. Everything was either broken in, rusted, dirty. It looked really, really old. From what I remember, it started in maybe like the 20s, 30s, 40s. The place was called Penhurst Asylum, by the way, for those who want to look it up. So we're roaming around the first floor for a little bit. There's really nothing interesting because it's still light out. So then once it gets dark, we go into the basement of oh wait, hold on. I think this is one of the structures actually. Wait, I'll go back to the story in a second. I believe this is one of the structures, and there should be a written book in here maybe. Day 19, unknown, original. He is here. He has been watching me. I can feel his gaze. This place is no longer safe. Maybe if I burn this cursed place, I will be free. I will go far, far away from here. Surely then I will be safe. Oh yeah, so this is what I was talking about. There's like the naturally generating structures with written books inside of them. So once it gets dark, we go to the basement of the place, and there was like the staff members waiting at the top of the stairs, and they're like, hey, do you guys want to borrow any ghost hunting equipment? So I'm expecting like, okay, they just have like some basic and cheap stuff. They have like EMF readers, spirit boxes, I think they're called REM pods. I could be mistaken though. They have like the Sphero thingies. They just had so much ghost hunting equipment, it was insane. It was like professional grade stuff too. It wasn't like the cheap stuff you get off Amazon for $5. So then we grab some of the stuff, and then we go down into the basement. And as we're going through the basement, there was like a giant open room, and the room was bigger than all the other ones in the basement. It looked a lot older than all the other ones. I'm pretty sure I have I'll put some pictures of it up on screen if I can find any. Yeah, I'll put any pictures of it up on screen if I have any. I should, because this room is very important later on in the story. So basically, all of the buildings had names. There was Devon, which was the name of like the main office building where the staff was. in just like the general office area of the facility. Then there were the other places like industry where the people built things to sell and make money. There was infirmary, which is just basically like a hospital. It was Mayflower Hall. I don't really remember what that was for. But the important buildings in the story is Devon and the infirmary. Oh yeah, and the tunnels. There were underground tunnels, which were really creepy, but also really, really cool. So actually, I'll start off with the tunnels interaction. So we get to the underground tunnels, and it's pitch dark down there. Like, unless you have a light, you're not gonna see anything. So we go down into the tunnels, and like, there's a small ledge on the side of each of the walls that is big enough to sit on, but not too comfortably. So then we sit on the ledges, and then we set up all the ghost hunting equipment. We put out the EMF readers, someone puts up the spirit box, we put all the REM pods down. And then during the briefing, they said, like, okay, if you want to experience stuff, like, you have to be nice. Like, you have to make it want to be your friend. You have to seem friendly. So everybody else down there said, like, that they were experiencing stuff, they were hearing stuff off of spirit boxes and everything. So I'm just like, okay, this is kind of stupid. Cause like, so then, wait, what is this? Huh. So we set everything up. We're asking questions. We're like, hey, if there's anyone here, like, you can come sit on the ledge with us. Like, we're friendly. If you need help, okay, one who watches right there. I'm just gonna ignore him. We're like, if you need help, we're here to help you. If you need a friend, we can be your friend. Like, we're just here for you. Then we wait a couple seconds, all the lights are off, and then just straight up nothing happens. So this is the point where, like, I'm just hard losing all faith in this. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we're not gonna experience anything tonight. But then, so nothing really ever happens down in the tunnels. None of the equipment goes off. We don't talk to or find anything down there. But on the way home, and I'll tell you what prompted me to do this in the second part of the story, because that's how I figured it out. On the way home, I was checking through all the pictures and stuff, because I figure, like, okay, there's always these things where it's like, if you take a picture where a ghost or apparition is, like, you're going to catch the apparition on camera. So I'm just trying to take as many pictures and videos as I possibly can to try to see if I can get something. So then whenever I go to the picture of the tunnels, if you look into the corner, like in between the light and the darkness, there's a, like, you can see sitting on the ledge, there's a shadowy figure, like an apparition, leaning down onto the ledge, like in between the light and the darkness. And I actually got a picture of it, and I'll put the picture up on, oh, this was the structure that Bootleg was talking about finding. Yeah, like I was saying, I'll put a picture of it up on screen right now. On the left side, I'll probably zoom in on it if I can figure out how to do that. But yeah, after I go back through the footage and I say, like, hey, is there anyone here? Like, it's just absolutely crazy to me to think that, like, there actually was, like, someone or something sitting there with us after we asked it to. Like, that's just so cool. That thing pulled up on me really fast. It was just so cool how something, like, actually came and sat with us while we were there. So then, what prompted me to... Actually, I'll start off with the infirmary. So, we were in the basement of Devon around maybe 9:30 p.m. because that's whenever it had just gotten dark during the summer, and it was just the first room that we happened to go into. So then, okay, these phantoms are gonna kill me. So then it's maybe like 12:30 in the morning. Like, it's 30 minutes past midnight, it's dark, it's really late, most of the people have left by now. So, in the darkest and furthest back hallway in the infirmary, there was a room which I'm pretty sure was a cafeteria based off of, like, the old stoves and stuff that were in there. And I put a picture of it up on screen for my viewers on YouTube. And basically, like, we get in there, we turn all the lights off and everything. We turn on the spirit box, and this was my first time ever using the spirit box. Like, I had really no clue what I was doing. So I turn on the spirit box, I put the headphones on, and basically what a spirit box does is it cycles through a bunch of radio frequencies and radio channels. And what it's supposed to do is let something like talk to you through the scanning radio channels through like electromagnetic waves or something like that. So everyone turns the lights off, everyone goes silent, and then I turn it on, and then I hear the sound of it going like of it just cycling through the channels, and I'm like, is there anybody there? No response. And then I'm like, okay, I give up. But I just asked one more time. I just wanted to ask one more time, see if anything happened. So I said, is there anybody or anything there? And then I hear clear as day, like not a radio channel, not anything, but clear as day, I hear a yes. So then chills go down my spine, and I'm like, whoa. But like, I'm still telling myself, okay, I just picked up a radio channel, this isn't real, like, or there's somebody messing with me. So then I ask again, is there anybody here? Yes. What is your name? Steven. So what really stood out to me was that whatever it was, it had a name, and that like it remembered its name. I don't really know why. I just thought that aspect was kind of cool. So then I said, where are you? And then it responded with basement. So the basement to the infirmary was actually blocked off because one of the hallways had collapsed into the basement due to the old age of the facility. So we weren't allowed to go in the basement. So I asked anyway, I'm like, where's the basement? And then the part that really scared me a lot here was after I asked where's the basement, it said Devon. Devon was the first building that we had gone into. And then whenever I asked where in the basement it was, it said office, and I'm pretty sure the room that we were in, like the big room we were in, was the main office of the facility. So at this point in my mind, it starts to click that like, oh snap, there might have been something in the room with us whenever we were down there in the very first room that we went in. So then I asked, like, do you need help? Because the people said if you talk to something, offer it help so that like you can keep conversating with it. So I said, do you need help? And it said yes. So then whenever I obviously asked them, like, okay, how do you want me to help you? And then it said age. So I don't really know what that means. I don't know if it's like demonic, spiritual, or whatever it is. But if something asks me to help them with age that's been dead for maybe 50 years, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm good. If you're ever asking somebody and you need help, and the way you ask for help is by asking for age, one, I don't really know what to tell you about that, because like you're kind of dead, but also that's kind of like creepy in my opinion.
It said Devon. It said help basement. We asked where the basement was, and it said Devon. Devon's the name of the other building.
So then this is what really ties in the whole thing. And it prompted me to look through all my pictures and videos after. So after we leave the place, it's maybe like 2 in the morning, my dad sent all of the pictures to my mom, who was still at home. It was a trip of me, my dad, and a couple other people who we knew. And actually, whenever I was talking to the thing on the spirit box, I gave the spirit box to my friend, and then he asked, like, is there anybody there? What's your name? The same questions I did, and he got the exact same responses. So that added a little bit extra depth onto it. So then my dad sent all the pictures and videos of it to my mom, because my mom absolutely loves anything haunted, anything like exploring the haunted places, abandoned places. So then my mom sends back one of the pictures with a circle in the corner of one of the pictures. And then she texted my dad after it saying, what's that? So my dad hadn't really looked at the pictures because we didn't really think to at first. We're just like, okay, we just left, like we sent all the pictures back home, see what they think of the place, see if we would want to ever like come back here ourselves. So then we look like more into the picture, we look into the corner, and there's a white figure standing in the corner of the very first room that we went into, the basement of Devon, which is the description of where the thing in the spirit box said it was. And if you look at the picture in a darker environment, you can actually see like eyes on the figure. So the combination of me talking to something on the spirit box, my friend confirming that he was also talking the same thing on the spirit box, it's saying it was in the basement of Devon, and then a picture coming back of a figure in the corner of the basement of Devon. And okay, I just got chills down my spine because I'm talking about the horror experience while horror sounds are playing already. So then it's on the way home. Like, it's the midday. It's light out. We're on the way back. And that was enough to, like, send chills down our spine. It was terrifying. And I don't know if I said already, but I'll put a picture on screen of it because, like, obviously, what's the entire point of talking about this whole story with and saying I have a picture of it without actually showing the picture? So I'll put the picture on screen either now or already on the screen whenever I was talking about it. So I just think that it was insane how we got a picture of an apparition, and then the picture of the apparition matched up exactly with something that I was talking to on the spirit box. And like these encounters alone is enough to make me think like I'm not the biggest believer in like aliens and that kind of stuff, but stuff like paranormal ghosts or just weird stuff on the world that there probably shouldn't be. Like after those experiences, just like there has to be something out there. There can't be like all this evidence, but there just can't be all this evidence, all these sightings, and like everything just for there to be nothing. Why is there a perfectly square hole in the side of the hill? But yeah, those are my paranormal experiences for my YouTube viewers. Thank you for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel absolutely free to ask them in the comments or on Twitch, just anything. There's also the Instagram, Discord, YouTube, all that. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to ask. I'll answer anything y'all have. But thank you and have a good day to all my YouTube viewers.